Hey, everybody, Scoots. This is going to be a little different than where I pitch for Sleep With Me Plus. These are more questions because I'm going to try to do some listening and see what we can change up about supporting the show and keeping the show going. So if you listen to Sleep With Me like most nights or all night, and you hear the support messages, particularly the intense ones we've been doing since April of 2025 and the mini-sodes, I'd love to know what kind of goes through your mind. If you're a regular listener, is it like, I'll do it later? Or is it something like someone else has it covered? Or is it like, I don't want to think about this right now. I'm trying to go to sleep. And you don't have to answer these questions. But if you do, and there's other questions this is a whole thing. I'm trying to listen and figure out, so if you're like a regular listener and you've never supported the show and you didn't already fill out a survey that's like, I'm not going to support the show or I can't support the show. So if you're in that middle, you could let me know the answers to those questions at sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. Or not. But yeah, that's sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. I'm here to listen to you. Thanks.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Taking care of your eyes shouldn't be a hassle. That's why Warby Parker is a one-stop shop for all your vision needs. Our prescription glasses and sunglasses are expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Stop by a nearby store or use our app to virtually try on frames and get personalized recommendations. Did we mention we offer eye exams and take vision insurance too? For everything you need to see, head to your nearest Warby Parker store or visit warbyparker.com today. That's warbyparker.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's here to keep you company in the deep, dark night. I'm here to be your I'm here to actually apply for the role. Why I'm here today? I'll be performing multiple confusing, I don't know if there's any soliloquies in, I put the silly in soliloquy, then, sir, there is no silly in soliloquy. I thought you were applying for a job. No, I just thought of that, and it was somewhat witty. And this is a podcast that's just barely witty. And I think putting the silly in soliloquy, when I can say it, is would be quite an accomplishment, because who said not all soliloquies have to be. And I'll be doing, maybe one day I'll do a silly soliloquy from the sill of a window or other sills. I don't know what other sills are out there. Windowsill, other sills. I don't know, not a door sill. Like a cat. When does the sill become a counter? That's my next question. But, I'm supposed to be opening a sleep podcast. Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to keep you company, take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep. It is very different. You're right if you're new. It is not probably what you expected, because I'm here to be your friend in the deep, dark night, to make the deep, dark night a little bit less lonely, and to distract you from whatever's keeping you awake, to be your friend, like you would call me. I don't know. You could try out those silly soliloquies. I'm fine with that. You could list, if you knew any other kinds of sills, you could list those. It'd be a short list probably. But, the word sill's got to be like, hey, man, come on. Is there anyone out there that's willing to build other things? A cubby, could a cubby be a sill? I don't know. Anyway, I got to get this podcast going. I'm glad you're here. The show is very different. Give it a few tries. That's what over 1 million people have said to me. Most the people that say, hey, I gave it a few tries, and then, now I listen on a regular basis. Now I pay for Sleep With Me because I get so much out of it, because it's such a big part of my life, and I want it to be there when I need it. those people first didn't like the show. Now, there are other people that'll never like the show. You could always go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you and check that out too. So, but yeah, the show is here to keep you company. What we got coming up, support. So paying for the show is optional. The ad support does that. Then there's a long meandering intro, which is separate from the support. You don't want to miss out on it because that's your wind down time. That's your easing into bedtime time where I keep going like this. It's like a silly soliloquy. Maybe I'll even look up those words and try to define them. And then there'll be support. Then there's our bedtime story. Be honest, I don't even know what the bedtime story is going to be tonight. I'm excited. I'm going to be as surprised as you are. And then there's a thank yous at the end. So it's a structure show. I'm so glad you're here. Let's see how it goes. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these sponsors are how we're able to do it for you for free twice a week.
This show is supported by Blueland. Living a cleaner and more sustainable lifestyle by reducing single-use plastics is a small action that makes a big difference. And Blueland is on a mission to make it easy for everyone to make those sustainable choices. They believe that hardworking, clean products can be the norm, not the exception, so that you can do better for your family and the planet at the same time. From cleaning sprays and toilet bowl cleaner to dishwasher and laundry detergent tablets, Blueland's 100% microplastic-free, EPA Safer Choice certified formulas are safe to use around people, pets, and plants. You'll love not having to choose between the safe option and what actually gets your house clean. Blueland products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands, and the formulas are free from dyes, parabens, and harsh chemicals. Plus, Blueland is a certified B Corp and certified cruelty-free by Leaping Bunny. Their formulas are EPA Safer Choice certified, and many have received the Gold Material Health Certificate from Cradle to Cradle. And right now, Blueland has a special offer for listeners. Get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/PRX. You won't want to miss this. blueland.com/PRX for 15% off. That's blueland.com/PRX to get 15% off.
All right, boys, Scoots here, and this is a return to like an episode. It has a companion episode. I don't know what number it was. I'll look it up. I'll even just look it up on Google. Sleep with me. Oh, what a... And we'll see. People saying something about me. Oh, I guess there's actually a new hit out, so... no, that's 2000. I guess I got to fully write it out. It's a little too confusing. I don't know how, the problem is I don't know how to spell mountain. Oh, it's right in front of me. Oh, mountain. Sleep with me. Oh, what a mountain. 802. Wow. So it's about 400 plus episodes, 4 years ago, more than 4 years ago, I guess. But this is a board game. And there's a little story behind it, but I have it in my lap, the actual used version of the game. It's an older board game, and it's a board game, and I don't claim, I believe that the time I played this game was when my family our yearly vacation for most of my life, or most of my childhood up until 7th grade, or 6th grade, or 8th grade. I don't know which grade. One of those grades was for 1 week a year. I don't even know if it was a full week. I guess it probably was a full week. We would rent a camp, what they call a camp, which these ones I would call them a camp. It's not like a summer camp. It's like a cabin, but not not a summer home. But there was actually a full-time home next door, but on Sylvan Beach, New York, on Oneida Lake, we would rent the same camp every single year. And we rented it whenever Wimbledon when Wimbledon. So I think that's July. And the only reason I remember that is because my grandmother loved tennis, and this was back in the 80s when Wimbledon would be on like over-the-air TV. or at least all the big games, which I think are big matches. So it's just one of those things I associate. Actually, also the spirit of the podcast is there, because one of the things about camps versus a summer home or a cabin is they're not built like there's not only they're built very in a very basic way. I don't remember what the bathroom was like at this place, but the shower was outdoors. It was enclosed, but you showered outdoors and your feet were on grass and sand. And that wasn't to get sand off your feet. That's how you bathed yourself, or at least we did. Maybe, I don't know if there was an indoor shower, bathtub or anything. I don't know. I'll have to check in about that. So we're getting a little personal essay action in here. The other thing was, so why is this related to Sleep With Me? Because I don't know how many rooms were in there. We had 6 kids. At the time, I don't think we had 6 kids in our family. Let's see. Well, yeah, for a while we did have 6 kids. And then before that we had 5 and 4. And I don't know if we rented it before we had my 4 kids in our family, because I can't remember that. I don't remember that far back. But the thing is that they're very basically built. So even if there's interior walls, there's no drywall or insulation. And there's just cheap paneling. And I don't mean that in an insulting way, but what that means, and I don't even think at this house, the paneling went all the way to the ceiling. So the walls were not to the ceiling, or maybe there was no ceiling. It was just the roof was the ceiling. I'm guessing that's probably the case, just because it wasn't meant to be used in the winter and it didn't have air conditioning. I mean, everything was mostly waterproof, though the roof probably leaked, I'm guessing. But so the thing was, if you were in bed as a kid and adults were watching television, you could hear them. And so it'd be coming through the 2 sets of whatever was used as walling and over the thing, no matter what. So that's just like an experience that's very similar to Sleep With Me. It's like listening to a TV on in the other room, right? I don't know, kind of a fundamental part of Sleep With Me. So I don't know, I've always thought that was cool. And so, yeah, that's so that's where we were, I believe, when we played this game, because I can remember playing it outside on the seawall, which was more of a beach wall, and then there'd be beach. And the nice thing about, if you've listened to any of these episodes, but it's been a while since I've talked about this. So Oneida Lake, is that what I'm saying it is? So it's the Sylvan Beach on Oneida Lake. Sylvan Beach, there's a public Sylvan Beach too. And there's a town of Sylvan Beach, but it has a beach, a sandy beach. I don't know. Now, I'll be honest, I have no idea if it's natural or not, but it doesn't erode. And part of the reason it doesn't erode is because there's a long shallows. I don't know anything about the history of this lake, but that, it's a sandy bottom lake, so the sand would make sense. But there's the shallows, which is full of algic muck, which I can't remember what we called it as a kid. Maybe we just called it the muck. And I don't want to get too deep into it because it is kind of like one of those things. But it was like the soup, it did feel very, what is that word? Before humans type stuff. Not cosmic ooze, but pretty close to it. And not, my brain always says miasma. I say, no, it's not miasma. And I think that's probably, that's because I minored in classics kind of by accident. And I still don't know that I minored in classics, and the only words it's like a miasma, pathos, and the one where you get in trouble and then you have your downfall, which I don't even know now. And right now, off the top of my head, I'll probably say it 3 episodes from now, like I know something. Oh, and then I said, what is it called? And something primordial soup, or this is more primordial ooze. First, my brain said, vestigial. And I said, no, that's when we talk about our tails. But yeah, primordial, this was more primordial ooze. Maybe some part of it fused with me and became part of my being. But so for the first 15 to 30 feet, this lake, the shore of this lake had primordial ooze. Once you got through the primordial ooze, though, it was like a beautiful, beautiful water, sandy bottom, probably some sandbars, great swimming. A lot of people had boats and stuff. But of course, I, as a person that makes a sleep podcast, what would qualify me even at that time was not just listening to a TV on in the other room, but that I, of course, developed a very, there's a word that rhymes with possessive, but I wasn't possessive of the primordial ooze. I was the other word where I was constantly fixated on it and what could be underneath the primordial ooze. Not in a way, like I just was afraid of stepping on something, I guess, or that there were like most I was just worried about fish. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to soften it. Like I didn't think there was any beings, sentient beings in there or future friends. But I was definitely very focused on it, where it prevented me from swimming. Or made it that much. This was one of those few situations where it was that much sweeter when I got through there to swim. One other thing to note was that the camp we rented was a very distinct color, which was a color if you left a banana out to ripen, but before it got fully ripe, like it was that color between the original yellow banana color and the almost grayish brown of a ripe banana. It was somewhere in between, like one of those gradations or one of those shades of color there, like almost ripe banana. I don't know if originally it was a banana colored thing, but yeah. And we rented it from the family next door who had a son. They had this, I guess this is, wow, like we're going deep. And then I guess we'll talk about the game or maybe we won't. We'll see where this goes. We'll roll with it. So a couple other things for my formal development. Actually, very important, actually. I'm glad. I'm thinking of Charlotte, who is a show archivist, because there is a major touchstone, and it's only been touchstoned on as a part of this thing. And now I'm like, wait a second. I may be uncovering a false memory or a real memory, but first we'll get there. It involves a question that occasionally gets asked about sleep with me, and it has never been clearly answered except deep in probably one or two other episodes. But so next door was the family who owned this camp. I don't know if they owned any other camps, but they lived there full time. Like, so they lived in a house on the beach. So they lived in, it wasn't a summer home. It was a house on the beach or a house on the shore or, whatever, 10 feet back from the shore. And a couple of things. Now, this family, I don't think they were super wealthy or anything, but it does seem like they're wealthy when I lay some of the stuff. But maybe they were. I have no idea. But behind the camp and the house was a tennis and basketball courts. And I think some of their kids played tennis. I don't know how many kids they had other than 2, but I think they may have had more kids that were older than me. Their youngest kid was around my age. And then they had an older kid who was one of my first ideas of what a male was, like in a sense of like, and not so much like whatever it is. If you were like you would aspire an aspirational male role model, but only that you'll never like that you say, but I'm not even qualified to aspire to be this male. So is that like I mean, that may be one of the more true statements I've ever told. But this guy really was. Well, we'll talk about this guy, JJ. So JJ had long metal hair. Like not his hair wasn't metal. Like he was in a metal band. I'm being honest here. Don't know if I ever saw JJ in a shirt like in my life. I don't remember how, I'm assuming he was in good shape, but it actually, like the essence of JJ was it just didn't matter. He was only known as JJ, so I have no idea, like in his last name. I mean, I just knew him as JJ. And so, I mean, already say, so I was like, okay, I wish I could aspire to this. And I don't even know if he was a bad boy or not. He was just like, I don't know. He wasn't like a godlike figure to me because it couldn't attain. I mean, I guess maybe he was a godlike figure because it's like, well, like, I never even told like, it wasn't even like I was like, you'll never beat JJ. It was like the bar of whatever JJ was so high that it was like, I just need to take all, like, I got to go on. Like, it's kind of like when you do downhill snowboarding or skiing and you see the ratings of the different, hills, you say, no, I got to go on the blue hill, man, like, or the green one. No, I'm not qualified for the double, you know, like JJ was a double. So, but there's more about JJ. So, I mean, not too much more though. So JJ, like, I don't ever remember him like, I mean, in some sense, I think we were nothing to JJ, but not in a mean way. Like, I don't ever remember interacting with JJ negatively or positively. I just remember observing JJ. And JJ, of course, played the drums, metal, like to metal music. In a garage JJ had taken over. And sometimes he would grace us with the fact that he was playing the drums with the door open and the music blasting. And then other times he would be in there with the doors closed. I don't even know if there was other band members or JJ was just rocking. Also, JJ was not some sort of ironic or parody-like figure. I mean, maybe to other people he was, but he was like 100%. Like, if you told me, like, oh yeah, don't you realize, like, that was like JJ was in this band. And he just lived a basic, like, cool life. Nothing, no, he never got too high, I'd say that makes total sense to me. I totally believe it. Like JJ, he was never the greatest. He was like a solid drummer, one of the most solid metal drummers of all time in this solid, you know, like working artist level metal band. Like, I would totally buy that. Or if you told me, oh, it was with the ultimate irony. Oh, no, he works at, like, whatever, you know, Morgan Dean, you know, financial advisors or whatever. He's the president. You know, he was the one that, like, yeah, whatever. I'd say, okay, I buy that too. But not only not only was JJ in this garage, right? But it wasn't like, it was like a garage set off, probably the garage for the camp. So maybe it was in this, like, it was more like a shed where you could park a car. It wasn't attached to anything. But I'm pretty sure, like, it had bare wood walls where JJ had, like, written, like, I can see JJ, I mean, I don't know, maybe this was just my own fixation, like, little letters JJ and, like, beware, you know, written and stuff in this garage. And so that was JJ. I mean, that's all I remember. Like, when I remember these things in my childhood, like, there's other specifics, so maybe we'll get into them. Or maybe we'll get to, oh, what a mountain. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But, you know, this is what's cool about making this show, right? Okay, so we had JJ. And it's been since I've talked about Sylvan Beach specifically, it's probably been like 5-6 years. So this is good. And I mean, I wonder what my life would have been like if there was enough room in there for JJ to actually be my male role model. And I mean, I don't want to say like making a sleep podcast is pretty metal, but I mean, making the weirdest sleep podcast is, I mean, that's kind of metal. I mean, I'm not just bragging. So I think JJ would be proud. JJ would probably not, I don't know if JJ would hit a hi-hat or just nod at me, but that would have been enough. And I did, I mean, I guess JJ did become my male role model because I am a person under ideal conditions. I would never wear a shirt either. So that it did have impact on me, but more on a, not on a statement level. And I guess that's what JJ was doing. JJ's like, JJ doesn't wear a shirt. I don't think JJ talked in the third person, but if he did, he'd say, JJ doesn't need a shirt, man. Like, no shirt, no shoes, shirt, shoes, no JJ, man. Like, that's what he said probably when he went to a store. Say, JJ, you got to put a shirt and shoes on. I mean, I would assume he probably didn't wear shoes, except when he needed to. I mean, it seems more reasonable, especially where we're talking about summer, Sylvan Beach, not a lot of air conditioning either. And Sylvan Beach, it has a reputation of being a a party town for tougher people, is my impression. So this isn't like JJ, probably was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know JJ's backstory, so I shouldn't imagine it since he's a real person. And my other closest male role model was my next door neighbor, who was very similar to JJ in that sense. Like, I don't know, like also metal and kind of like that. But it was also very similar where I was like, I'm just not, like it wasn't my internal critic, actually. It was just like, you're not that cool. It was just like, it was more like, yeah, I don't think I could, can't even aspire to be like that. Like, so it was more of like enjoying it and savoring it and just brushing up against it. Anything else about JJ? Play the drums. So I don't wear a shirt whenever possible. I mean, if I ever retire to a life, that would be the life I would retire to. I'd say, well, where can I live? Now, I can't live somewhere where it's so hot, you know. But, like, where can I live that, like, 9 to 12 months of the year? I only have to wear a shirt when I go someplace that requires a shirt, or I go on a Zoom or whatever. Otherwise, and again, like I said, it's, like, more of, like, a lifestyle choice than a statement. But that's kind of, like because of Zoom, actually, I wear my shirt pretty much at all times now. But it used to be... pre-Zoom life, I don't think I honestly, if I was working from home in the Bay Area, it's probably only 6 months a year, maybe 8 months a year. But like today, it's just slightly a little too chill to not have a shirt on. But it's also that I had to be on a Zoom earlier, so I needed a shirt. And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to take it off. Okay, so I think that covers JJ, but we'll go back. So then so basically the physical layout was this camp we stayed in. The garage was somewhere there. Then next door was JJ's parents' house. And I've revisited this place only tentatively twice, where we've driven down the street. This is all by power of my will. Where it is kind of like, I mean, I guess it's part of it is a sleep podcast because I return to stuff, and it's not like I want to take a bath in my nostalgia, but a lot of the stuff does come into my dreams as well, not related to sleep with me, but I want to see these places again. And so part of it was like, let me see this place again. The problem is I'm such an introvert, and most of my family is too. So 2 different times we drove down the road, and then as soon as people looked at us, it was like, okay, we got to get out of here. I'm sure my dad, if he had gotten out of the car, would have gotten into his extrovert mode. But it was like, we can't be answering questions of why we're staring at this place, or take pictures or anything, or walk down to the beach. But then we would go to the town of Sylvan Beach. This is twice, maybe 3 times we've done this. Twice, I don't know, it's twice, I think, and gone and had lunch. And one time we walked around the Sylvan Beach kind of amusement park boardwalk, so it's closed. Unfortunately, that was when my daughter was with me. Then the next time I went was with my brother and his wife and one of his kids, or both his kids. I don't know if they had 2 kids at the time. And that time the amusement park was open, but my daughter wasn't with me. So I kind of feel bad about that, but they have, anyway, so back to the people involved. So so JJ, that's a nickname. I think that's where this whole tangent came out of, like, there was 2 kids that I remember. Maybe there was an older sister, another older brother. If he was like Alex P. Keaton to contrast with JJ, but that's, fan fiction. But so the younger brother that was around my age, his nickname, and this is the only, I guess his name was probably Chris, but he was known as Critter. This was before the movie even. He was known as Critter. And he was a big hockey player. I mean, he wasn't big. He was bigger than me, but he wasn't a big kid or anything. But he was big into hockey. And we were friends. Like, until he kissed my cousin, we were friends. And then at some point I found him kissing my cousin. This isn't a joke either. He was kissing my cousin, not in just in a childish way. were playing hide and seek and they were kissing. I was like, what do you like? I don't know. I found it confusing, I guess, and overwhelming. So we're doing kissing my cousin. I mean, this is literally like we're like little kid. I mean, not little kids, but it was appropriate. It was just two kids kissing each other. But for me, I was like not comfortable with this. I don't know if that's actually what did it, but I think we stopped renting that place. But I can't blame Critter and my cousin for wanting to kiss Critter. I think Critter was pretty cute. And I mean, if JJ's your brother, even if JJ was like his own island, there's got to be some sort of Venn diagram where you're getting some sort of indirect JJ. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that kind of stuff rubs off, but I would think it would. Even if you're rebelling against your older brother, JJ. How many times can Scoot say that in one podcast? I don't know, but... So that was Critter, and we were friends, but I also had my brother and sister who we were pretty close in age, and then sometimes my cousin would stay with us. So, like, I remember hanging out with Critter, and yeah, we'd play, like, this was actually, like, very idyllic, because we had more than, my brother and my sister are only, less than 2 years younger than me. Just barely, like, and they're twins. And then Critter was our age. Maybe there was one, I don't know if my sister had any, like, friends, like, from, like, wherever nearby. But we'd always have enough kids to play hide and seek or whatever, those type of games. So it's pretty idyllic. I do have to tell a couple other stories, but I'll just say that, so we'll get to Oh, What a Mountain. Hopefully I'll remember not to tell all these stories again when we talk about Oh, What a Mountain, if it's on a separate thing. But maybe we should get to, like, this one thing that people ask about. So there's a couple of things to know. And I'm pretty sure this isn't a false memory, but maybe it is. So I'll, it's possible that I'm equating more than one thing, or I'm discovering something and finally making a connection. But so in the house, in between the camp and then JJ and Critter's house, where I don't think JJ lived there. I think JJ probably lived, in his car, and I'm assuming JJ had a muscle car, and lived in the garage with his drums. But I mean, maybe that's why it said like JJ's room, keep out. But so. In between those two houses, there was like a little bit of grass, and there was a tree. And the tree had a tree swing, like a tree swing on a tire swing, right? And also, and I know this is gonna like some people will relate to this, and some people won't. And I would say, and this is just in my imagination. So I'd love it if anybody is big into research. But there was a certain piece of marketing that was happening at that time for soda, and a particular soda, Mountain Dew, that had to be one of the more, and there was an orange soda was advertised. And, and I'll kind of dig into it because it's important. But Mountain Dew had like what I guess you'd call, it's strange I'm using this twice in one podcast, even though I've said JJ 80 times, like they had what you would call a lifestyle marketing campaign, which was called Doing It Country Cool. And I don't know if Mountain Dew was new or not. And I highly recommend checking these. I haven't watched these advertisements since I was a little kid. So maybe they're dated and stuff, but they're probably on YouTube. And it associated drinking Mountain Dew. I would assume that the people in the ads were in their 20s, and they were beautiful people. And they like the whole concept of these doing it country cool was, that was a lifestyle they were offering. Like if you drank Mountain Dew, much like beer commercials, I think at this time in our history in the U.S., like you weren't allowed to advertise beer or liquor on TV. Maybe I'm wrong. So there was a big spend for soda, but maybe it's just the case. I mean, it continues to be. I mean, this was like the whole history of soda back then was pretty popular. But so this lifestyle campaign mostly involved swimming holes, usually you'd be in jean shorts swimming, not in a bathing suit. So people and I guess they're probably more clean cut than JJ, but people going to swimming holes and having fun. That was like literally their campaign. And I bought into that fantasy fully. I mean, I honestly, I love swimming holes. I'm like, is that why? Because of Mountain Dew marketing in the 80s? That I still want to do it country cool? And they even had a song that went with it. And there was constantly like the idea of using a tire swing to jump into a swimming hole, or being on a raft, or like inner tubes and like in a swimming hole or a river, or probably lakes and stuff. I mean, I don't know how many commercials there was. To me, there's only one, but I'm sure there was multiple ones. And, at different times you would have that Mountain Dew, and it would be sweating, whether it was a can or a bottle. I don't know if they had bottles. I assume they did, but it'd be sweating with condensation, and everybody would be happy. And I mean, that's just what they sell, and that works. Like I said, okay, unfortunately, I guess this is where my road diverged a little bit. I mean, probably we're looking at something that, while it may not be it probably may have been a version of non-positive masculinity that I could have bought into. Maybe it was. Like I said, maybe we don't know. Is there a way to navigate the world with no shirt that isn't I don't know, I think there is a person out there, and in my fantasy it is JJ, that, lived a life as a working artist, rarely wore a shirt, and, was a really nice guy, probably quiet and kept to himself. But I don't know, instead of that path, which was right in front of me at least, I could have got more into metal and grew my hair out or whatever and got into the drums. That's a lot of work. I guess that's why I didn't do it. You said I'd probably have to get closer to JJ and risk talking to him. So instead I chose this other route, which is much easier, which is it can all exist in my head, playing myself out in the Mountain Dew commercials. And that one day, instead of being JJ, I could be not in a Mountain Dew commercial, have the visceral experience of joy and connectedness and freedom that these people had in the Mountain Dew commercial, doing it country cool, as they said and sang. And I'd be jumping but one thing was that, I guess, whenever I see one of those, a fishing hole with any kind of swings, I say, I don't know. I'm big into swimming and swimming holes, but it's I'd have to check the area. I got to check. I said, let me get a feel for it first. I'm not going to instantly do eventually I'll do it country cool, or maybe I'll do it a little a kind of country coolish. So I don't know. I just I don't know where that tangent came from. I guess another important thing is that, so this all plays into this tire swing. So that was part of when I would see a tire swing, it was associative. I say, okay, well, this one isn't at a swimming hole, but man, that's like the tire swing and the Doing It Country Cool ads. So we have that. Also, there was a marketing campaign going on, and I can't tell you which orange soda it was from. I think it was Orange Crush, I guess, because there's Orange Crush and Sunkist are the two big orange sodas, I believe, at least that I can think of. And I don't remember their commercials, but I remember it was maybe more of a surfing lifestyle, another beachy kind of lifestyle, a little more sophisticated, I would say. I don't know what you say. Orange soda ads are more sophisticated than Mountain Dew ads. I'd say, in my mind, at least. I'm not talking super sophisticated, but maybe people with a shirt and shorts on instead of shirtless with ripped jean shorts. And like I never had Mountain Dew, or that's the other thing. I don't think I have had any Mountain Dews or orange soda. We didn't drink. I don't think we drank a lot of soda as kids, except for special occasions. And so, but I don't know what it was. Like Mountain Dew, I was more into lifestyles. Like, I don't know if I need to drink that Mountain Dew. Plus, I mean, if my parents knew anything about Mountain Dew, they were like, yeah, you don't, because you could do the Dew later. Once you hit the 90s, instead of doing it country cool, you would do the Dew. That was more like extreme sports. But it kind of fit in. I wonder if they kept the same company. Like, it was great marketing. I mean, I'm not kidding. Worked on me, except it actually didn't, because I didn't drink any Mountain Dew. But yeah, if my parents knew that Mountain Dew had caffeine, they're like, you can never have a Mountain Dew. Especially Andrew, you should just never have Mountain Dew. Which the one time I can remember drinking a lot of Mountain Dew was like the only time in college I went on spring break. And I can remember every morning buying a can of Mountain Dew or 2 cans of Mountain Dew and savoring them. But so whatever, Orange Crush was also being promoted, and that was more attainable. So I guess the Mountain Dew lifestyle, drinking Mountain Dew, and JJ's life were unattainable to me, even at that age, even as much as I fantasized. But the idea of whatever they were offering through Orange Crush and the idea of drinking Orange Crush was like slightly more appealing to me. Now, there's this whole other thing that I'll talk about, but all this involved the rope swing, because at some point we were on the rope swing, and I don't know if it was me and my brother Carl, or me and my brother Carl and my sister Sheila, or a critter was involved, or I was by myself, and there was another kid there, older kid, significantly older, but not a ton older. So we're talking, if I was in 3rd grade, this kid may have been in 6th grade or something, or 7th, like whatever, I don't know, like not a teenager, but getting there. And I don't know who this kid was. Like they weren't a stranger. So maybe they were part of JJ's family. Like JJ, there was another brother or a cousin. I mean, they were local. Like either they lived nearby. They weren't related to me. But they were friendly, right? Like, they were a nice kid. And so they so this one time, this person, this gentleman or whatever, who I guess I didn't, like, spend enough time with to remember their name. I have a vague idea that they had a beard, but that may have been in my imagination, because that wouldn't make a sense for the story the way I'm telling it. But they're the person that would eventually have, like, a Jerry Garcia-style beard, at least in my mind. So they were pushing us on the tire swing. And at some point they were doing the thing where you you spin a tire swing and it like builds up tension in the rope and then it swings back the other way. And eventually they got the idea. Now this is where this all happened. So I'm sure of all this, like, and I'm pretty sure of this next part, like, but I'm not 100% sure of the last part. So they offered some sort of competition to the kids. Now, I'm not sure, or maybe it was just me, because I don't remember it being it was like an internal competition. And I'm not sure what it was, like how many times you could go in a circle, or could you stand up after you go in the circle, or whatever. But this does somewhat make sense that it involves spinning, only because of the last part, which is the only part I'm not convinced is true. But it's another memory that's true. I'm just not convinced it's totally related to this. But it's important for Sleep With Me listeners, like deep listeners. Okay, so let's just say there was no other kids involved. So it's just me and this other kid that's slightly older than me. And they were really nice. And I don't believe they had any ill intentions. I do believe that they had no intention of fulfilling whatever the offer was. Which was like, hey, but I'm almost 100% sure, but I'll give you caveats at the end. That they were like, if you could do this, whatever it is, spin around 50 times, let's just say, and hold on, because you know that swing is like really spinning. And I don't think, like, again, I think they were just like, this is kind of cool, like challenging this kid or whatever. I'm almost positive I said, I'll buy you something at the store, because there was like a corner store pretty close by. And I said, well, I'm almost positive that I said, I want an Orange Crush then. And they're like, all right, I'll go buy you an Orange Crush then, if you could do this 50 times. Now, there is a chance that it could have been a Mountain Dew. So this is the caveat. So whatever it was, I successfully did it. And what did not happen was whatever the person had promised me, they were unable or unwilling to fulfill it. So maybe I asked for a Mountain Dew, and this is why I don't remember drinking any Mountain Dew. And they were like, no, it's not a good idea. How about an Orange Crush? But I'm almost positive my memory is very associative with finally I'm going to have an Orange Crush. I've been fantasizing about this as I've been consuming all these ads. When I crack it, I'll immediately be surrounded by people that love me and respect me and laugh, and I'll feel like all my burdens will be removed. And I'll just taste it. Like, what does an orange soda even taste like? And especially for a kid, you don't think about this as a big deal, but it's like I'll be able to drink 12 ounces of my own soda. Like, I mean, for a lot of us, that was like holy cow, that's like finally a place of my own. So I'm pretty solid that that's what happened. It was like I wanted an Orange Crush, and they said they would get me an Orange Crush. And I completed the task. Now, so what happened after I completed the task was a couple of different possibilities. I know I did not get what I asked for. So either I asked for a Mountain Dew and I got an Orange Crush, and that's the end of the story. But if I asked for an Orange Crush, now I'm wondering if this is when this big other memory took place, and this was actually causal, which I've never quite put my finger on. And that's the only reason I'm like, oh, maybe I'm imagining that's causal. But, so what do I mean? Now, if you listen to Sleep With Me at all on a regular basis, you know I have a very, primordial objection to orange creamsicles. And I mean, even talking about it, just one of those things, like the entire idea of orange cream, like orange soda, I would drink it. Like, I haven't had an orange soda in a while. But if I had the option to have one and it was a day where I was like, oh, okay, today's a day where I'm going to have something like an orange soda, I'll have it. I mean, I probably would choose something else. But now that we're talking about it, I'm like, maybe I'll have a zero sugar orange soda. Or down on the weekend. I don't know. It's a bit much, I think. But there is something about the orange soda. There's the brightness, especially, again, like if you're a kid like I was trying to, be the one thing I took from JJ, never wear a shirt, and you drank orange soda and you got it all over yourself. That's pretty cool. But so... so if you listen to Sleep With Me, I don't have a objection to orange, and I don't have an objection to cream. But the idea of an orange creamsicle, it's literally and this came up recently, like my daughter had something orange creamsicle flavored. Well, recently she had an orange float, orange creamsicle float, like orange soda and ice cream, vanilla ice cream. I said, no, don't even sit near me. Until you're done with it. That's how, reactive I am to it. But she had something else. It wasn't even, I don't know what it was, but it was some sort of orange creamsicle or orange cream flavored thing. And it would have been really, and I said, no, I can't even sample it. And I think it's something I'm going to stick with. It's just one of those, things that's really beyond my, it's so deeply wound that my body reacts. It just says, no, please. And the reason was, and I'm trying to keep this in a sleep podcasty way, but at some point I had an orange creamsicle, and just one. So I'm pretty sure this was back in the day. Now they sell them as ones, but it used to be, and I don't know if that was a marketing thing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense now I'm thinking about it, unless you have two kids. But who wants... you used to be able to get popsicles, fudgicles, orange creamsicles, and whatever else, and it would have two popsicle sticks, and you would either cut it in half or break it in half, and then each person would have your popsicle stick size popsicle. Or you could buy them, and it was a larger one with one stick. But this was like one that looked like almost like a smaller version of a hot dog or something size. I mean, not like exactly, but, and I'm pretty sure that's all I had was like, maybe I had the double orange creamsicle. And I can remember having them before this, and not loving it, but being like, well, this is dessert, so I'm willing to eat it. But at this point, like, it was like some sort of hyper awareness. So this is why I'm tying it to this. Maybe it was, I was dizzy from spinning on the tire swing. I mean, this makes a lot of sense, but you know, these kind of memories don't always necessarily always connect easily like this, but it makes sense. So we'll just say it for now. But it wasn't like it wasn't like from the spinning I didn't feel well. I was aware that I was willing to drink a Sunkist or Orange Crush. And I don't know if this kid just didn't have the money, because it would be funny that, but the price difference would be huge. Like if you went to a corner store at this time or a bodega in the 80s, I would bet an orange soda cost 25 cents, but a popsicle was probably like 5 cents, 25 cents to 5 cents, or 50 cents to 5 or 10 cents. I'm just guessing. Those prices could be way off, but like a soda would probably be 5 times as much as a single popsicle. Or this kid went into Critter's house and JJ's house and knew there was ones in their freezer, which makes even more sense. And I'm pretty sure that was what happened. Like they were like, oh yeah, I'll buy you orange soda. Maybe they thought there would be orange soda in the fridge or something. Or maybe they didn't have any money. So it's already like makes sense. Like, so there's like my expectation was unmet because but they said, hey, you pulled this off. So here's an orange creamsicle. So my taste buds were already anticipating the sweet, sweet purity, like of orange soda. But then also, like I was disappointed, but I was also like, instead of feeling not well, like, I mean, maybe I was on some level, but my mind, like I think I was like ultra alive or something. And this is why, like, when people break down why, like, when I had that orange creamsicle, I could taste everything, every ingredient that made up it, which was no orange, no cream, whatsoever. And even that wasn't what bothered me, but so much like I could taste the separation of the artificial flavors, and there was just something about that I think you can read between the lines that I said never, like it just set me wrong, permanently on orange creamsicles. And I mean, it's very rare. I mean, I guess it's not that rare. Every kid has their thing that, like, whatever, the second, third grader is going to swear off a dessert for the rest of their life. But I mean, that's pretty common for kids. You have a negative experience. You're like, I'm not orange creamsicles. I'm never going back. That's pretty much what I said. And I mean, I've held true to that, but there's something that comes up is like why do scoots have because there's very few other things that I have such a strong reaction to. I have a lower level relationship with that, with like plain spaghetti and tomato and like store-bought tomato sauce. But I am willing to, this is the last time I talked about this, like I would be willing to eat that to be polite. So, like, if I was at your house and you served plain spaghetti with store-bought tomato sauce, I would eat it to be polite. But if you offer me an orange creamsicle, I'd say, I feel like I just talked about this somewhere, but like, I don't know when the episode came out, or maybe I was listening to an old episode. But if you did offer me that, I'd say, I'm sorry, I can't have, then they'd say, well, you can't be my guest in my home if you're not going to eat these orange creamsicles. I'd say, that's fine, like, even if it was like someone like a business that said, well, I don't know if we could do business with you. Say, oh, like, this is getting like a TV show, but it's true. I'd be like, that's fine. They're like, that's $1 billion. I mean, I guess I could overcome it for that. Like anything where I could live off the interest, that I'd be willing. So I'm not going to say that, But if it was just sensible, like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. This could be a great partnership, or I think dinner's going wonderfully well. I'm laughing at all your jokes. We're looking at each other's eyes. And if only you'll enjoy we'll intertwine our arms like Lady and the Tramp style, even though that's not what they did. After this plate of spaghetti, we'll have our orange creamsicles. We'll feed them to each other. Like, we'll do some yoga arms. I'd say I'm afraid not. Like, I'm afraid it's not. Like, I would. I would say I'm afraid it's not possible. I'll just have to go home with my tummy full of spaghetti, with plain spaghetti with store-bought tomato sauce. I'll plus the sauce up. I'm just not, like, it was something very similar with spaghetti, where, like, it wasn't a permanent ban, but it was like, it was maybe the first time I was supposed to sleep over at a friend's house. So I think it was tied into that experience, and I had to call my parents to pick me up after, because I said, so I think maybe it was like a way of me getting like somatic, like that one, where it was like, hey, I just want to go home, but I can't admit it to myself. So I'll use this spaghetti as an excuse. But it wasn't an excuse because it was actual real somatic response. The orange creamsicle, I have a somatic reaction to thinking about it, but it's not that, it's not somatic, like where it's like, it's all levels. Like, even my spiritual being's just like, I got in a spiritual sense, I have no offense, and I have no offense for people that love them. It's just not for me. I guess it's a holistic thing. And it's like one of those things. It's just one of those things. I was like, no, I prefer never to taste it again. Like, I think that time is good, but it does make more sense with this other memory. So, but at some point that the broader thing happened where I was like, I just didn't enjoy this experience. I don't think it lasted very long either. Like, maybe I don't think it was a bum orange creamsicle either. Like I said, there was some sort of heightened awareness of the flavors that captured my attention of every cell in my body and my internal experience in a way that just said no, like, and maybe the physical response was related to that. And it wasn't like a moral or like, this is there's plenty of other artificial flavors. Like I said, I would have gone for that artificial orange crush right away. But I don't know. I know this question came up recently somewhere and someone was asking about it. And so I guess we were going to talk about What a Mountain, but we talked about Sylvan Beach. But soon we'll be talking about What a Mountain. I don't know if this will be like a set of episodes within a couple-week time span or not. But this is really why I love making the show, to be honest. I know some people are big fans of these personal essay-style episodes. And I always try to figure out, like, not forcing these, like letting them come up organically so that I can respect my own boundaries, but also, like, not add something in with a preconceived notion or agenda. And so it does take a long time between personal essay episodes. One, because, there's only so many things that are, like, fit the bill for a sleep podcast. But also, like, I just like it when it comes up like this. And I say, oh, okay, this makes sense. Let's follow this path back. And it's like I don't want them to be repetitive. Like, probably you could listen to the original Sylvan Beach episode. I know there's one other thing, a couple of things I didn't get to talk about, or a couple different cool things. So, yeah, there's plenty more. There's plenty of reason to check out that show in the archives. It might be so far back in the archives that it'll be on Sleep With Me Plus. But 802 for What a Mountain is definitely in the main feed. Oh, no, wait, 600, yeah, back to, 600 episodes. Yeah, so 600. So, yeah, it's still in the main feed. And yeah, I'll do another episode covering the actual board game soon. Good night, everybody. I just want to run back. I'm still looking at everybody that supports the show via referral program. If you can't afford to support the show via Sleep With Me Plus and you want to access the Sleep With Me Plus, you can get it. These are the first people that signed up when we first tried this. It didn't have access to Sleep With Me Plus. And it didn't really work for most people. It did really work for a couple people that we're going to mention. But Daniel was the first person to sign up. But it looks like Daniel kind of got started. One share. Then Chastity signed up, shared 16 times, but only one preview. So that kind of says, like, you got to share, like, with context. And then our friend Cornelia, still one of the biggest supporters of the podcast, in action and words and kindness. Cornelia, she had 4,824 page views, 851 previews, and 562 referrals. Cornelia was so successful at this early on that the person that ran the company, the original owner of the company we paid to run this referral program, they reached out to her. Let's see, they made Kathy, who had 6 shares, but no previews or anything. Again, that's not, it's just a reflection on if the more context you add. Charlotte, who was part of our team, 38 page views, 4 previews, and 5 referrals. Saqib, 6, 1, and 2. Gabriella, 1 and 1. Sometimes the 1 and 1 is people checking out their own page and signing up, which is totally fine. Lois Anna, like banana, 10, 4, and 3. Sarah, 15 and 1. Kelly, 24, 1 and 8. So again, just like thanking people that signed up really early on, early adopters. In those first couple of months, we tried this out back in the beginning of 2021, end of 2020. So I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody who goes out of their way to support the show. And we exist as a free podcast because of people that support the show directly or support our sponsors or support the show through action, like just spreading the word, like the sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. You get rewarded if you're not in a position to support the show financially and you want to access that Sleep With Me Plus feed. You could get it over there. And, check it out. And, appreciate it. Here's Scoots with a Tuck You In sponsor asking for support. And that's how I got those 601 ad-supported shows ready to go. You can listen to them for free anytime you want or pick what works for you. Thanks and good night, everybody. All right, but this is Scoots with a Tuck You In message at the end of the shows we do. And this time I'm going to ask questions because since April of 2025, we've been trying to look at I don't know, what I'm doing is not working, so I'm trying to change what I'm doing, I guess. So I've been trying to get some questions together, and you could answer these questions or not. You don't need to. Or these ones are kind of just, hey, if you just happen to be listening in. But I'm here to listen to those answers, and you could answer those if you happen to want to tomorrow or even tonight at sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. So, yeah. And this will help me understand, especially people that have been listening longer than 6 months, have been listening longer than a year, have been listening longer than 3 years. People that listen most nights or listen all night long or fall asleep fast, or you've been listening so long that everything kind of blends together. You're like, I don't even know how long I've been listening. So one question would be like, when you press play with Sleep With Me at bedtime, what's something you hope doesn't happen? Like, I don't know if it's like, that you don't, it doesn't start you thinking about more, or that the night doesn't feel as long, or that you don't feel alone, or the physical sensations you don't feel, or the thoughts, or the feelings you don't come up. Or it could be something else. I mean, something more specific, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's just not words for it. And what does Sleep With Me replace for you? Like, what did you used to use? Or what does it fill in? Does it fill in silence in the room? Like a TV that used to be on, or a show you used to stream? Does a show Sleep With Me replace your thoughts? like a train of thoughts you got to go on a ride with? Does it replace, I don't know, something that helps you rest? And then I guess, like, I'm curious, like, if you do hear the requests for support and the kind of varying degrees of feeling I have when I'm making those messages, right? And then maybe they kind of slide by or slip past you. I want to know more about that. Like, so when you do hear those messages, if you do, like, what thoughts or feelings come up? Is it something like, I'll do this later, or someone else probably has it covered, or you don't need my support, or I don't want to think about that right now, doing something or paying for something or taking any steps? Or is it like, that's just not for me. I'm not a person that supports podcasts, or that doesn't sound like something I want to do or need to do. Okay, and then if you are one of those people that says, yeah, I'll do it later, like, what does later mean for you, right? Is it like later, and this is one that comes up in my personal life, there'll be a better time in my life later for this. Like, my life will be more calm, or I'll be more, these are my words that I use for internally, not for you, but I'll be more emotionally able to handle that later, or I'll remember later, or maybe I'll be sleeping better and I won't need to do it later, or maybe my sleep, maybe it'll be, my life will be less full later. And then another question is, like, if you've ever looked at joining Sleep With Me Plus and thought, like, I don't need more, or the free show always works for me, so what else would I need? I'm curious about that, like, what the more might be. Does it sound like more work or more effort? Like, does it sound like you'd have to do something or manage something new? Does it sound like a change to a routine that's already kind of working that you don't want to mess up? Because I can't keep doing, like, I've got to change around the messaging around the show, even if it doesn't end up working out, because it's just, I want to be closer to the listeners I have, and I don't want to expend so much time and energy keeping the show going, or with my concerns around that, that it makes it impossible to make the show anyway, almost. It's kind of gotten to this point where it's like a conundrum, I guess. So I want to move to getting to know things better, and then trying to do some things in a different way. I don't know if a more holistic way is the right way to say it, but so yeah, that's what kind of those questions are about, is me kind of understanding more, listening. And most of the questions will have open-ended answers too. So if you want to do that, you can fill, like, I got a survey. It doesn't, I don't know if it has all those questions on there, but, sleepwithmepodcast.com/listen. Or if this kind of pushed you over the edge, you could always support the show at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, but I think it'll say that at listen anyway. And again, there's no rush or requirements. It's just, this way of, like, I want to keep making this podcast ideally for a long, long time in the future. And most of our funding comes through, like, 80% of the way we pay our bills is by listener support. But I want people to feel welcome, right? And it's kind of gotten to this point where it's like, I think I already said, though, it's like I'm so concerned with keeping the show going, it's almost making it possible to keep it going and maybe pushing people away, which I don't want to do. Because, again, my goal this year is not just to keep the podcast sustainable, it's to bring sleepy joy and delight. So I'm hoping I could do both those things together somehow. So I'm hoping, some of this idea of listening and getting to know And if you are, the thing is, and it's also no pressure, like if you can't support the show, or you decided when we did it last year, you were like in the group of listeners, like, no, I don't want to support the show ever. That's great, because we like, it's the people that I've never heard from, right, that I'm trying to get to understand better this time, who are like in a position where they can support the show. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, so anyway, thanks so much for listening. And if you're new or occasional listener, or you already decided not to support the show, you're not in a position to support the show, thanks, because you're taken care of. Like, and I think probably me getting through this phase of the show will positively impact your show, because I know when I'm really feeling it, like I'm really like, you know what I mean? You could hear it in the tone of my voice on some of those reads. And I don't know, I'm trying to find a better way to move forward with the show. And I guess I apologize when it's like, I don't know, everything's kind of intertwined. So I wish there was an easier, perfect way to do all this. So I guess I'm going to try this way and see how it goes. Thanks.